Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. 3-4 years ago, maybe it was now? Shoot, maybe longer than that. I created a video on my channel that got a ton of pushback from the quote-unquote great players. People who said it was a wasted topic, was super, I don't even know if they thought it was true. Super untrue, maybe? Super obvious to some people? But as somebody who downloaded this game and had zero tutorials, didn't know people did YouTube, didn't know about Reddit, didn't know about Line, I literally just blindly walked myself through things. For the longest time, my mastery setup was the worst of all time because I poured literally every point I had into strength and greater strength because of course I want to increase the attack of all my champions by some percent. Who cares about all this other complicated stuff? And plus that takes like units and something called cores. Like, nah, I just want to, do attack. Little did I know for several years, literally years, that I had the worst mastery setup of all time and was hurting myself. Didn't know what parry was, didn't know what dex was. So my channel is for people who maybe aren't as ignorant as I was, because that's saying something to start out. But they're not the best interceptors in the world. They're better at face blocking than they are intercepting, which is definitely my claim to fame. The video that I recorded 4 or 5 years ago is why I won my last 2 Battlegrounds matches. And I was smiling from ear to ear, thinking to myself, I'm doing what people made fun of me about. And it's making me have a chance to win fights against really good players. Now, I will say, I've won 3 Battlegrounds matches in a row, and 4 of my last 5. It's probably going to be the only time I can say that all season, so take a picture of that. It's not going to last long. I usually win about 55 to 60% of my Battlegrounds matches. I did have that one crazy season that I ended up in Platinum, having only done 3 Battlegrounds matches every 2 days, and I won like 90% of my matches, and that's just never going to happen again. Last season was my worst ever. I didn't even get to gold. I stayed in silver and still got a ton of trophy tokens, still got, most importantly, as I always try to show my subscribers, still got enough trophy tokens to add several generic 6 stones to my collection. And now I have almost enough, well, I guess just enough for 6. I was going to say more for 7, but that's, as usual, my math can sometimes be a little questionable. But I'm pouring all 6 of these generics into the person that I've poured every generic this week into that I didn't even have last week in my roster. And if you go all the way down, because Ronin's at 20, I'll finally be past the SIG 20s. Zemo, thanks in large part to this strategy. So I'm just going to showcase what the heck I'm talking about. And again, a lot of people who are the best at this game are going to laugh at this video. But it won me the ability to make this video. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to talk about my strategy. Because the secret to success, and I'm going to hide my webcam here. The secret to success in this game is about not doing what I did. Now this is kind of a bad example because this is how you normally play. We'll start this off with the norm because, of course, Red Mags has one of the most annoying heavy attacks in the game thanks to its unstoppable. I was going to have us bait a special 2. Instead, we took a combo to the face. Bait the special 2. Hey, there's some basic skills. Okay, so that's a normal fight. But in this Battleground season, where you have masochism, I'm going to pretend like he has masochism. I'm just going to hold block and then bait the heavy and go in. Now, again, this isn't the best example because you're going to take shock damage from Doom. And normally, Doom has crazy good armor and other, utility. But normally, if you make the opponent bleed, like I'd never bring in Wolverine in this Battleground season. I wouldn't bring in Wolverine in any Battleground season. Basically, I only bring Wolverine in now when I can get the crazy bleeds from Apocalypse. But you would hold block, you would have them hit the heavy, and then you just counter in. It is so obvious to so many people, and yet, I actually got thanked by several summoners who said after they watched my video, they kept trying it more, and it worked. The 2 tips that I've done that seem obvious to so many people, but I've been thanked over and over again, are the tip I'm giving you now about holding block, and then just making sure you sell enough ISO to where it never expires for gold. All right, here's a good example. Here's OG Vision. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold block with Kamala Khan, and we're just going to bait the heavy, and then we're going to go in, and that's going to be the whole strategy, besides what I should have done, which was to dex the special one. But hold block, bait the heavy, and then just go in. You never have to worry about triggering masochism with parry, and then you do it again, and you just keep going. Now look, this strategy is tedious, and I do it, one, because I have good defenders that I've chosen, so I know that my opponent's going to have a tough fight. But like the last fight I won against this Bear Moon player, solid player. First round, all I did was hold block with Scorpion, and then baited heavies with Sasquatch, and then came in firing special 1s and special 2s, and that was it. And I knew I probably wasn't going to take 7-star Sasquatch down, and I didn't. He had 13% health left. But I also, this strategy means other than some block damage, you don't lose health. So you can afford to play the slow game, and this will get you 38 to 40-something thousand. 30 to 45,000 points in Battlegrounds. And then he put his Hercules up against my Korg. Again, I'm very confident Korg is a good defender. I was surprised he didn't choose Domino, who would have melted my Korg pretty fast. He went with Hercules instead. I think he probably regretted that choice. And then in round 2, I once again used Spot. I don't know a lot about Spot, but I know that he's a better Rintra counter than most. So I just did my normal strategy. Again, I had 83% health left here, 81% health left here. Won both fights. In this case, I was curious how his Kingpin was going to do against my Rintra, and as you can see, not so great. Although the fight lasted the duration, Rintra's health was just, constantly coming back. Kingpin is sort of a tricky champ for this meta too, because if you fight with him wrong, you can't really utilize with the masochism what he's best at utility-wise. So, look, I still think that this is going to be a video that people probably mock, but just holding block and slowly baiting heavies, and then not even baiting a heavy with a heavy like you would say Hyperion to Guillotine 2099, or maybe a better example is like Hyperion to Iron Man Infinity War. No, I just back up, have them finish off their heavy attack. Most of you know how many hits are in most champions' heavies. The newer champions, I still kind of feel like I'm learning. And then just go from there. It's the best I can do, and it wins me, especially this season, more Battlegrounds matches than it loses me. If I was to get impatient, not do that, if I was to try to parry more, obviously that would trigger masochism, but also if I was try to intercept, I would miss more intercepts, or at least I'd probably miss about half the intercepts that I would try, and so then that would just mean a major loss of health. I'd rather take minimal block damage, not try to intercept, and just make it a longer fight. I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is my advice on my YouTube channel 4 years later. Still doing it. I stand by that first video. I stand by this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.